Good evening, Shotcaller family. It's your boys, the Shotcallers, back with another podcast episode. The date is September 9th, 2019, and we are back to talk basketball. As always, I got my boy Richard, Ride or Die Bustos.
Oh, what's going on, guys? What's up, listeners all over the U.S., in the Netherlands, and in Great Britain? Our analytics say that there's somebody out there listening, so we appreciate all of y'all.
Yeah, definitely appreciate the views from overseas. And at the end of the table, I got my boy Andre, Accidental Genius West.
Accidental Genius.
Yes, Accidental Genius.
I like that one.
But a genius nonetheless.
Okay, yeah.
It's one of those, what do you call it? Backhanded compliments.
Yeah.
Like Rain Man.
What?
It's a TV. It's an old movie.
Okay, cool. And as always, we are glad to be here with you. 2 weeks since our last episode, but we are ready and pumped to talk to you guys about some NBA hoops. But before we get to NBA hoops, let's talk some FIBA basketball.
Oh, gotcha. Yeah. FIBA Madness, man.
FIBA Madness is in full swing. And I think Rich has a nice little breakdown of some of the weekend games.
Yeah, I think one that a lot of people were looking forward to over the weekend was the Greece versus the United States showdown. Giannis trying to go hard and, beat the USA. Everybody was kind of marking that on the calendar. I woke up at 7 a.m. to catch this game. I don't wake up at 7 a.m. for really anything, like at all, ever. But I woke up at 7. I showed up, ESPN Plus. They gave him my subscription dollars. I don't know why they don't put it on network television, but whatever.
You're a good guy, Rich.
And yeah, like it was looking great. Giannis is trying to go coast to coast, at least in the second half. He seemed to be kind of taking it a little bit easy in the first half. And I think that was a game where the United States defense actually kind of showed up and came to play.
Right.
A lot of guys, they were throwing multiple bodies at him. 2 guys, 3 guys, kind of like what we saw in the playoffs at times. Against the 76ers, when the Bucks played against the Raptors and all sorts of other teams. But the difference was, I think, the players like Harrison Barnes, Donovan Mitchell, Kemba, everybody that was throwing bodies at Giannis, once he passed out to shooters, they were closing out super hard, and they weren't afraid of the drive. So when the guys, the Papa Bros on the everybody starts with Papa over there, but on the Greek team, they weren't afraid of the drive and the drive game attacking closeouts. So they just let them drive. And then they had guys like Miles Turner, and Miles Plumlee. I always get Mason and Miles confused to this day. Let their length affect their shot. Even not Jason Tatum in this game, but in other series or in other games throughout this tournament, he's like the 4th biggest dude on the team. So the length was really bothering those guys. There were some tall dudes on the Greek team, but the length of the USA really got to them. So
Yeah, I think we're just looking at the game against the USA, but even going back one game with Giannis, I don't feel like he's really playing the way people expected. And what I mean by that is obviously if Giannis really wanted to turn it on, I feel like, we would have gotten way more shot attempts. If you look at his game against Brazil, they lost by 1 point. A team that I would say, we don't watch Brazilian basketball all the time, but there's no big names there where you would say, hey, there's gonna be a real matchup.
Hold on, Anderson Varejao. Don't do that.
And my man, I had to write this down because I couldn't believe I was reading this. I was like, what? His full name is Leandrino Barbosa. It's not just Leandro.
Barbosa.
Oh, his name's not Leandro?
It's like Ronaldinho.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. So I was like, what?
Those are G's right there.
Yeah, but the way that it was anticipated to be, Greece versus U.S. was like, okay, you're going to see Giannis, the reigning MVP, going against, the other NBA guys. They're going to have to really lock him down because even if you throw the 5 best players on this, what we would consider the B team, it's kind of like him carrying a middle of the pack NBA team against a slightly loaded,
and Greece
NBA
doesn't
team.
have the talent that they had in previous years either.
Yeah, so it's still one of those where it's like, hey, Giannis can pull this off on his own. But if you go back to the Brazil game, a team that, like I said, isn't nearly as stacked as the U.S., he only took 7 shots.
Yeah, and that's like one of the criticisms I heard a lot is that, throughout the tournament, Giannis hasn't really been given the ball to create and do stuff, right? Yeah. They've kind of just relegated him to, just standing around grabbing rebounds, doing stuff like that.
I think
not really handling and creating, and that's what his strength is.
I think he kind of load managed without just completely not participating. I think he has enough, country pride to say, I'm going to come out here and play and show up for my country because my people want to see me out there. So it's kind of like a fan service, I guess.
Well, he has respect for the guys that are out there with them. You know what I mean? He wants to see them shine, not just,
just do it all himself. Just be the Giannis show.
Yeah, and I get that because there was 4 guys that shot more shots than him, and they actually shot fairly efficiently. Their 3-pointer could have been a little bit better. I believe they shot about 32% against Brazil. It really came down to the very end. But early on in the game, you watched that game, Giannis, even the shots he did take, it wasn't what you typically saw, which, a lot of people say Giannis just loves to go and dunk on guys, drive to the rim.
Right.
There's a few times he posted up some guys and shot the fadeaway. So it's kind of cool to see that because it's a way to kind of hone your craft. Who knows? Maybe that's something he was working on during the summer, and this is our first little tidbit, first little sneak peek to see what he's going to pull out during the regular season. Like, he was doing like a Dirk fadeaway.
Right.
Obviously not in the same style, but,
it's something to work on.
They dished him the ball in the block, 2 dribbles.
Turn around, fade away.
Yeah, and so if he could get a shot like that, like, imagine Giannis being able to do what Dirk did, maybe not at the same level, but to have a move like that is insane.
And what better time to do that in a game that, has value as opposed to
exactly.
just like
it's still a
chilling at home and working on your shot like in the
FIBA
gym.
World Cup.
Right.
The Brazilian team's still trying to defend you. They have something to prove, I guess, because this is their only shot at playing NBA level guys. And you're playing the reigning MVP, you're going to guard him, right? So you can, like, to your point, you can say, if I can pull this off right now, there's a good chance it'll work in the NBA because these guys are playing defense.
Right.
Like, they're playing real defense. They're not just,
let me do whatever I want,
threes
right?
at the gym.
And it's more physical. It's more physical, FIBA, man. Like, those calls that, I saw Jason Tatum get whacked in the face, and, like, it was a play on. Like,
well, it depends on
say what you want about the rest, but it is just a more physical game, and it's harder to get around guys that are really attacking the pick and roll, coming up and pressing hard. So I think that definitely, if you're working on something that's working there's a shot that even though a lot of these guys' roles will be diminished a little bit when they go back to their individual teams, say for maybe the Boston Celtics, because who knows, there's so many Celtics playing all together.
Yeah, this is USA.
Probably how it's going to be, but I completely agree.
Yeah, and then we have 2 Celtics that I think were limited up until like yesterday. But I think ultimately Giannis, losing to Brazil, losing to the U.S. is just, I think Giannis ultimately joined the team because he knew his country wanted to see him play, and he wanted to do that for them. But I don't think he was anywhere in his mind was he like
trying
we're
to
go
over,
win the World Cup. Maybe next year will be different because to Rich's point a few weeks ago, I think they turn it on to a different level when it's the Olympics because you're fighting for that Olympic gold. Right. It's a different level of pride.
There
dude, Patty Mills is still going crazy. He had a game clinching steal against France just this morning. He picked because the USA played this morning against France, and Evan Fournier had the inbounds pass. It was 99 Boomers, 98 France, and the guy came around the 3-point line, headed towards the corner, curling in. Patty Mills turned on the Jets, got the steal, passed it off to one of his guys who tossed it towards the end of the court to run the timeout. Yep. And it put it away out of reach of France' hands. So.
Yeah, still being crafty at the end of the game. Still, I mean, that's what Patty Mills' game is he
crafty and speed.
He hustles
he's really
end to end, man. So that's what, and that's something that a lot of guys will rally around. So you can definitely see why his team's having success. It'll be interesting to see what the final ends up being. I mean, the U.S. won all 4 of their games, I believe.
Serbia lost 1.
Well,
and the only one who hasn't is Spain, I believe. Spain's also undefeated.
U.S. lost to the Australians, but in the exhibition.
Yeah, that was group stage.
Yeah,
that doesn't count. So they're 4-0. Giannis' team, I believe, 1-3. So I believe they don't move on to the tournament.
No, they don't.
And you're right.
And so
they lost to they beat Lithuania, but not by enough points to clinch their spot.
Yeah.
Right.
And then as far as like the results go going forward, since Australia beat France, the USA has to play France in the quarterfinals as opposed to Australia.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. One thing I do want to tell the fans out there is if you don't watch FIBA, check out at least one game. I mean, I was sitting in a hotel lobby in an airport lounge and watching Germany versus Dominican Republic.
No.
And to your point, you talked a little bit about the refs. There's some stuff that gets called that you would never see called in the NBA. Like there's a steal, and you know how like in the NBA sometimes guys will get a steal and they'll take like 3 steps because they're gathering.
Before they dribble.
Right. They blew the whistle.
They
on
blew
that
that shit so fast. Dude didn't even make it past half court.
Oh man.
And
good.
I was like even thrown off. I was like, what happened? And he's like, travel. I'm like, whoa. You call travel here?
Like all those are?
Yeah, and so it was really cool to see that. I got to see Dennis Schroeder. I was talking to Richard about this. It was pretty cool to see how guys play differently when there's less on the line, despite it being the World Cup and these games do matter. It was already group stage. It's really cool to see how differently they behave when they're the leader of the team, because Dennis Schroeder has never been the best player on his team, but in this case he is, and he was splashing some threes and stuff like that. But for instance, at the end of the half, right a little bit before the end of the half, they tried the 2-for-1, dumps it off to somebody who just turns it over, right? And then the Dominican Republic comes down the court, they miss, get over the rebound, shot clock is off.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think a guy in the NBA typically wants to do? He wants to take that last shot, right? and that's what I'm expecting, So he's playing ISO. I'm like, okay, he's gonna dribble it, dribble out. 6 seconds, he's gonna drive, maybe jump shot, whatever he decides to do with it. No, he dribbles it with like about 8 seconds, dribbles it, and then dumps it off to the big man.
Oh,
and I'm like, that doesn't happen in the NBA. These guys originally made the comment. It's because he's not shooting for his contract.
Yeah, exactly.
So it was really funny. So if you don't watch FIBA, check that out because you'll see guys play a different style of basketball.
Country over contract, baby.
And a lot of times these guys aren't even the number one scoring option. Like other guys are taking way more shots. And it could be that, unselfishness to say, hey, you guys don't play on this kind of level
just
as
let
much
them
as
get that
I do.
exposure.
Yeah, like I want you guys to be a part of this. I don't want this to be the Dennis Schroeder show or the Giannis show or the go on and on. We can talk about the Patty Mills show.
It should be the Patty Mills show.
Patty Mills show.
He is an Australian hero at this point. They're gonna make a statue. I read.
I like the Ingles show too, though.
Yeah,
he's a good sidekick.
Yeah, I just wish he. Just to foreshadow a little bit of the NBA season, I'm high on the Jazz and I'm high on Joe Ingles. I love him a lot. I just wish he wasn't 32 years old.
Yeah,
some of those guys that come over from Europe.
How dare he be 32 years old?
We forget that they're not. They've only been in the league 5 years, but they've been playing basketball.
They played
for a lot longer.
other professional leagues.
But yeah, and so I had a tidbit that I don't think is true, but they were saying that if you're an Australian citizen, all you have to do is ask your local parliament member that's responsible for your county or your section of the province to you're like, hey, can I have my signed photo of the Queen? It's framed, like you can just have one.
Oh, what?
But instead, you can just have it as Patty Mills because he's a hero.
Wait, I want a signed photo of Patty Mills. You just asking for that and you get it?
Yeah, just make your way down to Australia.
I'm sure it's not true.
All right, just hop on a plane to
become
down
a citizen.
Quick.
Hop down there and find out. I'm pretty sure you buy a Patty Mills signed picture for $100 online.
Australian fans, let us know, man.
Yeah, if you're in Australia, let us know if you cashed in on your
I need a Ben
Patty
Simmons.
Mills swag
photo.
But the USA beat Brazil, and we clinched our path to the Tokyo Olympics 2020.
Okay,
with that victory, and so I thought that was a lot of fun to watch. That's what happened this morning, and Marcus Smart was looking good.
He had an ankle injury, right?
I was about to say, wasn't he like hurt?
But after that, it was at the end of the third quarter, or before that, I mean, at the end of the third quarter, he had this like fall away three to kind of close the quarter and really kind of put the clamps on Brazil after that. Talking about the Greece game, what I was going to say was, even if Giannis is the best player, or no matter how good these individual teams can be that they face, it just shows how difficult it is to come back from a deficit when you're outmatched at almost every position as far as talent goes. Even if these are like our C team or B team or whatever, it's too hard. To get that many stops.
At a certain point, athleticism and talent just kind of takes over,
right.
Especially when you're down.
And if you got to dig out of a 15-point hole and you got to get offensive opportunities, but also get stops, it's too difficult.
And even then, like that's not even taking into account the coaching differences, right? We're like a Hall of Fame GOAT coach, and it's like.
Yeah, we forget about that sometimes.
Yeah.
And so we were talking about Leandrino Barbosa and Anderson Varejao. They were looking good, but on defense it was a little bit too tough.
Yeah.
Some of their cohorts were not watching ball and man. Like we'd have guys like Donovan Mitchell or Harrison Barnes drive into the lane, and they'd be looking at their assignment in the corner, but not aware of who had the ball. And so they'd be in no man's land, and somebody that we'd already be rising up, getting a nice layup or getting a dunk. So that's kind of what helped the USA really pull away and have those two big wins where it looked like they were ready for tournament play as opposed to exhibition.
Yeah,
so I think they're tuning up at the right time.
Yeah, like you got anything else on the FIBA? Anybody?
I mean, there was the controversial,
controversial goaltending call in the Lithuania versus France game.
I need to hear about this
last
one.
possession. Lithuanian players shooting a free throw.
Well, who won that game first of all?
Well,
France wins.
Okay.
Yeah.
Lithuanian player shooting a free throw. It bounced off the rim, but Rudy Gobert.
So in FIBA,
grabs the rim.
For those that might not know, if you haven't watched the tournament before this year, if the ball hits the rim and is rattling around, you can actually swipe the ball off of the rim.
As long as it's not like going in.
As long as you don't touch the rim.
Yeah, you can't touch the rim. Yeah, exactly. So
Rudy Gobert touched the rim.
If that Kawhi Leonard shot is going down,
you can grab it.
Or you can take it off the rim. Yeah, Carmelo Anthony was actually really praised for his astuteness in the 2012 Olympics. Might have been the 2008 Olympics where he swiped it off the rim, and they're like, man, so smart of him to know how to get that naturally when he's played 99% of his
waiting for it to come down off the basket.
99% of his games are not with that rule set, but yeah, so Rudy Gobert swipes for the ball, but he totally clearly gets the rim. You can get it.
Yeah, you can see the rim move.
You don't need a slow-mo replay. You don't need anything like that. But the refs did not call it. They did not call basket interference. Lithuania did not get the points.
Afterwards, the FIBA association came out and said, "Hey, ref should have called that. Should have been worth 1 point, which would have tied it up." So
they gave him 2.
No, they didn't give them
They didn't give him any
They didn't
points.
call the goaltending at all. So France ended up winning because they were up
France
1 point.
Lithuania was shooting. He
Lithuania was
swatted it
shooting.
off,
Rudy
and they
Gobert
shoulda gave
swatted
them-
off.
They should have
Yeah,
given him
they
a
shoulda
point.
got a
Okay,
goaltending
okay.
point.
Gotcha.
Yeah, so
Damn, that sucks.
so Lithuanian fans were pretty mad. They were screaming some obscenities at the ref and the FIBA organization during the Dominican Republican game earlier today.
All the
too.
fans
So,
were
they were letting it
chanting,
out.
"F-U FIBA."
Yeah.
Wow,
You could hear it very audibly
It
on
was,
the.
that's why you gotta get rid of that
screen.
rule, man.
yeah.
Well, and to their credit, they may not be working with A1 referee talent because FIBA and Eurobasket are
Yeah.
actually like warring over who gets the premium refs.
Yeah.
But FIBA came out and said that those refs are not going to be reffing any more games throughout the rest of the tournament.
Yeah, and I don't want to pile on the rest right now, but there was actually another incident. I believe it was USA versus Brazil today where there was a timeout and they didn't know where to inbound the ball from afterwards.
The players had to
They
go.
were trying to
"We're
take it
gonna
out from
inbound
under
over here."
under the rim
Yeah.
instead of on the side.
Yeah.
So it was like it's
Some of our
been a
guys
big
had to be
mess.
like, "No, over here, bro." Over
Man,
here."
this reminds me of the
the
replacement
refs.
refs in
Yeah.
the NFL.
I mean, those are some great times.
I like
for
that
me.
they're not letting them ref anymore though. I know the Soccer World Cup does that. Like if
Yeah.
you do a piss ass job during the group stage, you're not refing
just
it.
cut
You're
'em
not.
out,
You're
yeah.
not refing tournament, and definitely not refing the finals.
Maybe that's a leaf that the NBA should take out of the. Out of
yeah,
FIBA's
like
book.
work for your playoff spot. You just give it. To,
and they
or
do.
make
They
sure
do earn it, but
Yeah.
like
but I feel like it's more tenureship, right, in the NBA.
tenure and like how many times you've been in that stage before.
Yeah.
and like
I don't know. I'm talking about you got a brand new resume that starts this year,
And I believe they do have peer review as well, but I agree
Yeah.
with you. Like
Yeah.
that Golden State Houston game that I bring up from time to time, and
27.
Oh
We're
yeah,
talking
that
about
shit
it.
knocked them dudes way
Yeah.
down. like KD straight up like laying down.
Oh,
out of
that
bounds.
one, yeah. Oh,
KD
yeah.
might as well have been sitting in
Yeah.
the chair when he saved that ball.
He had a second row seat.
I mean, yeah,
That's
exactly.
how far out of bounds he was.
this is
bro.
the court,
Like,
and he was in this chair.
he was
Yeah, I
in the
know, it's
second row,
ridiculous.
like way back there.
So those guys shouldn't have been refing anymore.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
crazy. Okay, I think that does it for FIBA, right?
Yeah.
I think we're
Yeah.
good.
More FIBA banners.
There's still a lot of people left, guys. So if you have not watched the game, it's very easy. It's on Twitch, ESPN Plus, all those channels. Look it up. Just Google it.
and it's fun. So many personalities.
FIBA streaming. I'm sure it'll pop
Mhm.
right up. But yeah, what do we got next on the agenda, Rich?
We have the news. So not a little bit of a light news week. We had something concerning the Lakers yet again.
Surprise, surprise.
Some more unfortunate news. Something that happened to DeMarcus Cousins. Do you want to just fill us in?
Yeah. So DeMarcus Cousins got caught. Well, he was recorded telling his
It looked
the
like
mother
he got set
of,
up, really.
Yeah, it was definitely a setup. Was recorded by the mother of his son, saying that he wants to put a bullet in her head because she didn't want to let his son come to his wedding. So because
Yeah,
of that, he
so-
got a warrant for his arrest. I didn't see anything on the charges, like the duration and things like that. And this has just been bad luck for him. Like having the injuries. Now he's got to deal with this too. Is this maybe the end of DeMarcus Cousins' career as an NBA player? Because he's got a lot to overcome right now. Like,
I mean, it must be difficult to rehab to your fullest when you're dealing with things like this. You know?
Yeah.
So
I think even without this, you could make an argument that it was over because of the two major injuries. Like,
Yeah.
we were already talking about him, losing his verticality, I guess.
right.
And to have a torn ACL, it's like you're just piling on. Like,
And the worst thing is
guys
he was
don't come
looking,
back from one of those the
Yeah.
same. Now you have both of them. How he was barely coming back, like really
Well,
recovering.
he was
from
looking
the
really
Achilles.
good a few days before that last tear.
Are you saying because of the weight?
What do you mean, like the what?
Like just how he was looking slimmer? or
No, he
something?
was like there was games of highlights of him playing
Yeah.
pickup and stuff, like running the court. He was actually looking
Carmelo
pretty
looks
quick
great
and
out there.
stuff.
Everybody
No,
looks
but like
great out there.
it's not. He's
I
like
remember
actually running.
remember the
Like,
videos
he was,
of
he
Embiid
was
playing
looking
against
fast.
that
He was getting
chair?
up there. He lost a lot of weight.
Huh?
remember those videos of Embiid playing against that chair? He was looking great.
Yeah.
Looking great
Oh my
against
God.
that chair. I mean,
Yeah,
I mean,
sorry.
Fultz.
but
Hey, I'm telling you, Ben Simmons can shoot. No,
But yeah,
but like,
so-
no, he was looking really good.
I
Like
wish
he
we-
lost a lot of weight. He was looking quick. He was looking agile. So then he gets hit with this, and then now the whole assault thing too. It might just be
Yeah,
a wrap for him.
it's early to judge, and we're not ones to lay judgment.
Yeah,
Everything's
that's
still
not
in the
our
air.
job.
Everything's alleged on the legal side, and we still don't know what's to come from him on the court either. I'm
Yeah.
sure he'll get a shot. If Dwight Howard gets 6 chances, somebody will let DeMarcus Cousins have 1, I think.
Yeah, and he's still
So-
relatively young. He's
So
29.
on that, so
there
everybody
was
calls
more with Dwight.
everybody calls the NFL the no fun league, right? but at the same time, they allow so many guys that have done so much off the field stuff to play. I don't think the NBA has that same level of tolerance, honestly.
Yeah.
I think the NBA is more like, if it becomes like a legal matter, they're likelier to just shun you out. Like they seem like a little more no tolerance when it comes to that kind of field. Who's the last person to have an off the court issue that you can think of is still playing?
Under the new tenureship? I don't remember.
Yeah,
It's been forever,
I can't
right?
recall,
I can't think of anything.
I remember the Kobe stuff, the Jason Kidd stuff.
And
stuff
all
like
these
that.
guys that
Matt
are
Barnes.
Yeah, and all these guys that are getting caught like with the PED stuff, like they're probably never
they're
gonna
just
play.
suspended. Yeah,
Like what's his
exactly.
name, Tyreek Evans?
Yeah,
it's
it's
probably
suspended.
never
He's
gonna.
out
It's
there,
probably never gonna play again.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So I feel like the NBA is a lot more tight knit in that form. And even the Players Association, like, hey, we've got all this guaranteed money on the table. We got all these things. We got to.
You want us to risk that?
Yeah, exactly.
I will say that the NBA is usually more on the side of the players too. So they try to see what happens in terms of like the legality. What do the judges say? Like what's going to happen? What's the verdict? But at the end of the day, I feel like they do side more with the players.
Well,
You got to look at Porzingis.
Yeah, well, I think that's the biggest difference, and not to jump into the NFL too much, but the NFL tries to play judge. Like they try to.
Oh, for
Judge,
sure.
jury, and
Yeah,
the judge will absolve
and then,
whoever.
Yeah, and then they'll still be like, "Well, we're gonna do.
I'm
our
still
thing.
gonna do
We're
my
gonna do our
thing."
own investigation." The NBA is more so like, if you're
let's wait.
If you're
let the
doing it
legal
with your shit,
system,
we're probably not gonna.
Yeah.
But granted, the NBA has not had that level of.
Yeah, we
Scandal.
don't have that
Yeah.
many.
Oh
for,
my goodness.
for whatever
Too many
reason.
issues. It's
Maybe
amazing.
it's that freshman NBA orientation where they like warn everyone against this and that.
I'm sure it's the money.
Yeah.
The more
I'm sure it's the money.
Well, like-
you can solve everything.
No. I think it's more security. You feel like you're getting a good end of the deal in the NBA as opposed to the NFL, where it's like your shit ain't even guaranteed and it's more physical. And who knows all the brain stuff?
Yeah,
you don't know what's going on through these guys.
There's a lot more going
It's
on.
unfortunate.
In the NBA
Not here to talk about the
or
NFL, but that could be the reason. That's why I feel like I'm more worried about the injuries with DeMarcus Cousins.
And that leads me to what I was going to say. Shams Charania tweeted out this morning, the Los Angeles Lakers have applied for a $1.75 million disabled player exception from the NBA because DeMarcus Cousins is likely to be out the entire season. And so we're still waiting to see if they're going to grant that exception. And we don't know what that exception would allow them to do. It would allow them to sign someone to a veteran's minimum, even a 10-plus year vet. Even if the minimum salary for them is over $2.5 million, that actually is still capable of being done by the Lakers because the NBA pays some of that salary.
Do you know if that's triggered by the fact that he got hurt before the season started, or do you think it's triggered, or is it triggered because he's facing legality?
No, it's strictly on the injury basis.
Yes,
Okay.
Yeah, disabled player exception.
Yeah,
kind of like the legal stuff might.
Kind of like when Chris Bosh had the heart or the blood clots.
Oh, it does.
Yeah.
Okay.
It can. Mm-hmm. But like with Chris Bosh with those blood clots, disabled player exception.
So insurance kicks in and pays for it or something?
Yeah, if he took out insurance.
I know the blood clots did.
Yeah.
Like the blood clot thing, there was like insurance for the heat, so they didn't pay everything.
Yeah, the insurance stuff is pretty crazy. Like Enes Kanter took out insurance on himself before this previous season for like $10 million or whatever in case something happened to him. I think that's pretty crazy.
Premiums must be crazy on those.
Oh yeah.
I mean, you play
if you're
at that
in the
level.
Insurance professional athletes. Ooh.
I wonder how much they pay for
State
that.
Farm got that Chris Paul.
Cool.
But yeah.
Awesome. You got any other news? I know it's very light, so it's okay.
I think that's about all I got for the news this week.
Awesome. So let's jump into a very loaded.
Yeah,
it's a very loaded segment this week, and it's gonna be listener mail. We got quite a few you reach out to us, so we really appreciate that. We hope that this is a recurring thing that we're getting, that we're having happen every week because we love answering your questions. A lot of these things that you guys ask aren't even at the front of our mind, and then it just kind of flips the switch, and it gets us talking.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah, we make the show, but this is y'all's show. Y'all make the show.
Definitely, and we love interacting. So whenever you guys send those messages, we love to be able to, obviously we want to answer you on this platform, as opposed to just send you a quick message. But keep it coming. We will do our best not to overlook anybody as the volume increases.
Right.
But first question of the week comes from DJ, a familiar listener. He says it's not really a question. He just wants to hear our opinions on Stephen A. Smith picking Kobe over Shaq. So on an episode, I believe last week, they were talking about who would you rather have, and I think the question was worded in the form of who would you rather like have as your kind of franchise starter, Kobe or Shaq, Andre?
I'm gonna take Shaq, and I don't think it's not a hard decision for me to make. Like, he's just overall a better player. He's like completely dominant. You can't stop him. The only way you can stop him is fouling him. And even then, like, I feel like if he grew up in this era, he would be a little bit of a better free throw shooter. But even then, I'll take the bad free throws just because he's so dominant outside of that.
You pick Shaq, right?
Yeah, definitely, hands down.
Cool.
Better, like he's stronger, faster. You can't stop him. when you double team him, he's gonna make the pass to the open man. Like even in this era, he'd still be unstoppable with all the shooters and stuff. Just because, what can you do?
What makes you think he'd be a better free throw shooter? Because I mean, we have a lot of guys even now that struggle shooting free throws, and
the emphasis on shooting. So
DeAndre Jordan got a little bit better.
Yeah, even he got better.
Blake Griffin?
He was shooting like 70%. Great Blake Griffin. Just the emphasis on shooting. Like all the bigs are becoming better shooters, centers and forwards. So that just being a trend, I feel like Shaq would take that more into his game because he said he'd like to handle more.
Yeah. And
so
Shaq
if he could shoot, then
Shaq
he'd be
would
able to do whatever he
jokingly
wanted.
shoot threes at the All-Star game, have fun with it, but I feel like he'd want to mix it up and get some shots up.
You think he'd turn into a perimeter shooter?
If he was playing in today's league and he saw Joel Embiid shooting threes, he'd be like, "Oh, I'm gonna beat you at that." He was a competitive dude.
Yeah.
He wanted to show up every other guy at his position. So I really like his competitive fire. And I don't want to tip who I'm going to talk about. So do you have the answer to this next one?
I would have to say I'd go with Kobe for two reasons. If you basically look at the body of work, we talk about this day and age who would be better. And every single team is built around a guard. It's no longer built around the big man. So, yes, would Shaq have success? Yes, but I think defensively he would become a slight liability. I know he's very athletic, but I think about the guys that are playing the 5 nowadays. Imagine him playing against the Warriors. Yes, he would have a field day against Draymond Green, but he's making twos the whole time the Warriors are hitting these threes. Like, what is Shaq gonna do against that lineup when they're running around the way they're running around?
I mean, it's the same with Embiid. I feel like you just gotta take that.
Embiid is different. I feel like Embiid moves around a lot better than Shaq does, at least.
But Shaq wasn't like that. Like in his Lakers years, he was a lot more heavier.
Are you assuming that he would be in better
shape? I
shape?
don't think he would be as heavy as he had to be back then.
So are you taking Shaq, a lighter Shaq, a Shaq that would be...
I'll take a lighter Shaq, but he'd still be dominant.
Because they even asked Kobe the question, right? Like, what would Shaq be if he had your work ethic? And he said greatest of all time. And he even said, oh, Shaq would agree with that. They had a little back and forth on Twitter or whatever that it's about. But... The fact of the matter is you can't assume Shaq.
Okay,
would be
yeah,
in
that's
better
fair.
shape.
So I would still take 2000s Lakers Shaq.
Dude, I think that out of shape thing is totally unfair. Shaq is like
how is it unfair?
He's a specimen unlike anything anybody has ever seen like in history playing basketball. Like he didn't last like 6 years. He was in the 90s on the Magic. He went to the Lakers. Then he won another championship.
Like a 15-year prime
in 2006 with the Heat.
You guys are answering this question as who's more talented.
No, that's not.
Let's do a 2K style. Pick a year for the player.
No.
Take that player.
I think he's unprecedented with his.
Yes, I agree. He's definitely a wonder of the world if you wanted to go that far.
Yeah, he's the 9th.
He's crazy. He's crazy talented. He's crazy. His skill set is ridiculous. He's
the longevity.
But longevity.
Yeah.
19 years. He had a 15-year prime.
Wait, it was like 12, 13 years. But it was a long-ass time for somebody that big.
Kobe would give you that much longevity, if not more.
How many times did Shaq's teams miss the playoffs with that, like, what horrible Kobe did tear his ACL one of those years.
He tore his Achilles, bro.
Sorry, I get him confused. I'm not a...
Well, mid-2000s after Shaq.
But, so, like, Shaq, like I said, his body, right, he had that really long prime. But none of us know what it's like to be that heavy. So we don't know if him training like Kobe would have put extra miles on him compared to somebody that's lighter and fitter. Right. That could have shortened his prime. We don't know. It's a question that we can't answer because we don't have 50 Shaqs to compare it to where we have a bunch of guards that we can compare.
Let me ask you this question. How many of the on the 2 rings that Shaq won without Kobe, was he the best player on the team?
The 3 with him?
The 2 without Kobe.
No, he only had 1 without Kobe.
Oh, he only had 1. See, sorry.
Dwayne
so
Wade.
even the 1.
He was at the end of his prime. Dwayne Wade and the refs won that one.
How many Kobe led teams had a title without Shaq?
How many Kobe-led teams?
2, man.
2.
Both of those.
But Pau Gasol was right
there.
there.
Pau Gasol's good.
Pau Gasol. What I'm saying is Kobe was able to be the best player on another team without Shaq and win.
Yeah, but Shaq was older.
It doesn't matter. Shaq was on teams without Kobe. Why didn't those teams win?
Because Michael Jordan was out there.
No,
and Hakeem Olajuwon
right
was out there.
Right after he left the Lakers. Yes, he's a little bit older, but he wasn't primeless Shaq.
No, he went straight to the Heat.
He went straight to the Heat.
Went to the Eastern Conference Finals and then won the finals.
And then they won.
Yeah, but
and then he got old.
Was he the best player on that team?
You can't discredit him.
Was he the best player on that team?
He was until Dwayne Wade emerged in that finals.
Okay,
that's when he emerged. So before he
without Dwayne Wade,
someone else was.
Without Dwayne Wade, do we have 2 rings? Do the Mavericks have 2 rings?
Without him,
Without Dwayne Wade,
they
on that
probably do,
Shaq, yeah.
If Shaq is there, they beat those Mavericks.
If Shaq is there without Dwayne Wade, yes.
Oh my gosh, are you serious?
No,
if
they
Shaq
don't.
is there
They
without
don't.
Dwayne Wade,
Then why was Dwayne Wade the
I got it
MVP?
mixed up. I got it mixed up.
No, they
Yeah.
don't.
If Shaq is there without Dwayne Wade,
They don't even make the
Mavericks
finals.
win. Yeah. I get that, but I still
I don't
would,
think
I still
not
would take
even that
Shaq.
far
It's
either. I'm still gonna take
unprecedented what
Shaq.
he can do,
I'm
and,
not
and
saying
especially
he's not more talented.
especially in today's league. So to your point, where everyone's going to shoot threes, and he's gonna have trouble on the perimeter. 3 years ago, that's true. But going into this season, the Warriors aren't as loaded as they were. The Jazz have some shooting, but it's still like a gamble. Kevin Durant's not in the league for 1 year. There's not a team that's loaded with 4 shooters. Even Brogdon left from the Bucks. The Mavericks have question marks. All these teams have question marks. So I would take him in today's league.
And the
In
one thing
today's
about
league,
that-
this season,
man,
that's
I'm
what I would
sorry.
take.
Oh,
And
sorry.
one more thing I want
To
to say.
start your franchise. Sorry, I'll let
No,
you
I'm
make your
talking.
point.
That's not what the question was. But I would take him today,
Okay,
this year.
so
Let's take 'em.
when Kobe tore his Achilles, we had the Mavericks had just beaten them after being back-to-back NBA champions. You're telling me that if Kobe doesn't tear his Achilles, he's not right back in the finals?
After the Mavs beat him?
Yes.
After we swept them? No,
Yes.
probably not. I like
Who
OKC.
else is in the OKC over
the Spurs.
over that Lakers team?
Yeah.
Yeah, granted, you had
Because
Dwight.
he just got swept.
if
Phil
Bynum
Jackson.
if Bynum doesn't go nuts,
Go off the deep
Phil,
end. Yeah.
Phil Jackson
I was hoping
retires.
you remembered that.
Phil
If
Jackson
Andrew
retired
Bynum
after
doesn't
that.
go nuts, and if Kobe doesn't tear his Achilles, they are back in the finals. That Oklahoma City team does not beat them. I'm sorry, they do not beat them. And Shaq is more talented. I'll answer that question.
Yeah.
But I take Kobe every day.
All right, so I don't think we're gonna come to a
There-
resolution.
there-
on
no,
this
well, I'm
argument.
sorry because
We got 2 for Shaq,
nobody
1 for
ever
Kobe.
nobody ever asked MJ or Shaq. Everybody always asked MJ or Kobe before LeBron got
Ooh.
here.
That's because they're straight.
Yeah, they're
comparisons.
like-
it's like 1-to-1. There's no one you can compare
As-
Shaq to.
as the
That's
goats.
why nobody asks. That's why.
We got to do our top 10.
A lot of people don't even pick him as the
10s.
best center of all time. A lot of people don't even pick him as the best
I don't
center of
know.
all time. So that's my.
Who,
dispute
Shaq?
there. What was the last point you were gonna make? You were gonna say something else. Before
I was
we
going
go
to
to the
say
next one.
Shaq was efficient enough, and he got other teams in such bad foul trouble
Oh,
that
yeah.
it doesn't matter. And his
I just-
passing is so
I
good.
can't
Like,
forget
it
the time-
doesn't matter.
Remember that time he
What-
dunked on
what
the
about
entire Nets
Hackashack?
squad? Yeah,
What
that's
about
fine.
Hackashack?
Yeah, but with
But they
today's rules,
still won. It
you
doesn't
can't even
matter.
do that in the
Yeah.
last 2 minutes.
In the last 2 minutes,
Yeah.
but you can do that.
That's when it mattered.
You can bust the Popovich and
And
foul him at the
I-
beginning, right when you tip off.
I remember him.
That's fine.
I remember him making his share of free throws.
You said
in
it yourself.
2006
You got
against the Mavericks
you got
too.
when Measure was on the Mavericks. What did you call him? The
The
Tunisian
Tunisian-
foul machine.
I made that. I made that nickname up, and I'm proud.
So you got a guy out there that can just foul him
Trademark
6
it.
times,
Yep.
and there you go, 6 turnovers, baby. That's all. That's as good as 6 turnovers.
That's all right.
Yeah.
We'll get him back.
Oh, man. Alrighty, so we'll move on to the next question. Thanks for the question, by the way, DJ. He got us
That
all
was a
riled
good
up.
one. JD
Um,
was getting really riled up right there.
It's a guards league.
There's
I'm
a
sorry.
dent in the
It is a
table.
guards league, but
It's not a
Shaq
point guards league, but it's a guard league.
was the outlier.
Okay.
A outlier.
Go ahead. We got another question.
Kyle asks, why do you think Melo isn't on any teams? Is he out of shape? Is it his ego, or is it other behind the scenes issues?
I think he's as in shape as he will be, as we might be able to attest to. As you get a little older, it's harder to be in tip top shape, which is why you see guys like Kobe and Dwayne Wade try to shed the weight and be easier on the knees.
Yeah.
Carmelo wasn't always. He's explosive. He's an explosive person, an NBA player, but not explosive as much as the rest of his peers were going towards the rim. He has a lot of jump shooting at the elbow, shooting threes, slashing, but then pulling up for a 2-point shot. So I don't think he's fine as far as physically able to play the games. But if you go back to like that 2008 Olympics, I believe, where LeBron was there, or was it 2012? And you can go
Is
back
this the Redeem team or
the Redeem team.
Yeah.
The
with
one
Kobe,
that won it?
with Kobe.
It's 2012.
Yeah, 2012.
2012,
You
yeah.
can go back to see those videos of like LeBron's like, all right, we're gonna do 100,000 sit-ups, 50 crunches, 1,000 laps around the pool. Get up, Melo, we're doing it. Like Melo's like, oh Jesus. So that's kind of what I always think of when I think about Melo. So athletically, he can do it. I think he's looking for the right opportunity. Just like that quote that came out saying, "Would you join the Nets?" He was like, "That's family, man." It could be family because it's New York. He's from New York, and it's still part of New York,
Right.
or it's because it's any star in the league that recognizes him as a fellow star.
Mhm.
His
Kyrie-
family. You know what I
Kyrie,
mean?
Yeah.
It's beneficial for me to call us family. So yeah, we're family.
Yeah.
But I think that those Lakers are gonna take a good long look at Carmelo Anthony.
They're gonna
using
use that
using
exception right there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. For that
Cool.
minimum.
Yeah, I don't think he's out of shape. I don't think that's the issue at all. I think he's not anything anybody really wants to. Not that anybody's gonna build around him or he expects anybody to build around him, but I think his skill set is very particular, and you guys have talked about this a lot. He has to come off the bench because he can do that against the bench,
second unit.
against the second unit. He can't do that against the first unit because there's always going to be somebody on a team that's probably better at it.
Better
than
choice,
him.
a better option.
Yeah, there's somebody who can do what he's trying to do better than him.
Mm-hmm.
So why do you need that?
Right.
You're gonna what are you gonna put him on the like? I'm surprised they took him on the Rockets. Maybe it's because he was cheap, but
That is
like what he does, James Harden does better from the 3-point line.
Right.
So why would you put Melo out there?
Mm-hmm.
Like you said, Melo, he slashes, and then he just pulls up and shoots from the elbow.
Right.
That's a 2-pointer.
And that
a
doesn't fit their style.
A contested, inefficient 2-pointer.
Yeah, when you can just give it to James Harden. If you're gonna run ISO like that, just give it to James Harden.
Right.
Let him pull up step back 3. He shoots it probably at the same efficiency that Melo shoots from the elbow, or at least that year. And so why would you need him there unless who does he do what he does? Who does he do? Who does he do it clearly better than? I can't think of anybody.
No starters.
Yeah, exactly. So like, you're taking the ball out of your star's hands in every situation.
I feel like you guys might agree. Like, who wants the sad superstar story? Like Dwight Howard. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
There was a clip of him on First Take, like where Shaq was ribbing him, and he was like, "I don't know why Shaq's talking to me, but I'm not talking back because I'm just here to play my role." Like looking sad.
I'm just
like,
trying to, I'm just trying to get back in your good graces.
He did a whole
right?
like a little thank you for
thank
having
you,
me
Lakers.
back. Lakers
I'm here to
video.
do the right
So
thing. Yeah.
what do you think? Your answer to this question from Kyle is, Andre?
I kind of agree with what both of y'all said. So no building team's gonna want him just because, like, what does he have to offer in terms of training? He doesn't want to play for one of those. He's obviously waiting for a contender.
Hornets.
He's waiting for a contender,
Mm-hmm.
but no contenders have space for what he offers to a team at the moment. Like you guys are saying, maybe the Lakers, and that would be a good fit because they need another creator, another shot maker, so LeBron can rest, get some wins during the playoffs.
I just feel like the ball dies when it gets in his hands.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like, if you get him, he's going to fill that role of ISO scorer. That's all he's going to do. Maybe
remember
get a couple
Monte
rebounds.
Ellis?
Yeah, Monte Ellis.
Before he was on the Mavericks?
He's actually still pretty hot.
Yeah, before he was on the Mavericks, though, like
in the Warriors,
that was the biggest issue. Was he was a ball stopper, and people were mad when they replaced him with Steph. But like he got a little bit better when he got to Dallas. But that's the thing. Like, it gets in your hands, and you just feels like, all right, let's everybody sit down and watch Melo. Like,
get the rebound.
That's not gonna work.
I'm gonna do what I've done my whole career.
Yeah, it doesn't
and
work.
so, what you're saying, Monte
very
Ellis,
specific niche that he fills.
He does that in the freaking gym videos.
yeah.
I was watching a video. I'm like, dude, you gonna pass the ball? You gonna do something besides like dribble across half court and then pull up?
This
like,
is for the gram.
Until a contending team needs someone to fill that role, man, he's not gonna.
Nobody needs that now.
Keep an eye out for the. You were saying Monte Ellis kind of turned over a little bit of a leaf with the Mavericks. I enjoyed having him in this town, and
he's still young, man. He can still play. I'm
right,
out there in the
But speaking to coaching,
oh my God, Andre, you love the. Is this another Instagram video?
Yeah, man, he been tearing it up, dog. He been Instagram,
Andre
Snapchat,
loves
out
that.
there, man.
Andre loves the.
I'll be out there watching the workouts, man. I'm trying. I got off topic, but DSJ and Trae Young were here yesterday, just going at it one-on-one
in Dallas.
Oh yeah, you mentioned that. How was that?
It was pretty crazy. They're literally going at each other.
Can I? What Instagram can I find that
Oh,
video?
no, you can't. That ain't out there, man. Not yet.
The secret run.
Yeah, this is the secret. I was there,
That's
getting
crazy.
dunked on.
I wonder why they picked Dallas.
I mean,
Dennis
DSJ
has
property here.
probably has ties
that makes
here.
sense.
It was interesting.
You got a house out here.
But I was just gonna say that if Carmelo Anthony made his way to Miami, maybe coaching could make a change there. Eric Spoelstra was a great coach. Keep him in shape.
It's Miami.
Him and Jimmy Butler like each other. It's Miami. He likes wearing fancy hats and stuff on the fashion, like whatever.
Some fancy hoodies.
I mean, he's been through what Scott Brooks and
Well, that's not a very strong
and
coach.
Mike D'Antoni.
Strong coach.
They had a history. He went through it twice.
Yeah. So anyway, that's the end of the Melo chapter of this episode, I would guess.
Yeah. Well, I'm sure.
It's the same story. Nothing
I feel like
changed.
his name's gonna pop up until he ends up on a team where he just says, "I'm retired," and stops.
It's a sad way to go out.
Stop making ESPN specials. Next, we're gonna go to Ramiro's question. He says, "I'm a big Warriors fan. The loss of KD is huge, but I personally think Iggy and Livingston means more. Losing Iggy and Livingston. So, what's a bigger loss to you guys, KD or those other two role players?"
So it's definitely Kevin Durant.
Kevin Durant.
If he was healthy. So if you look at it from that lens where he's not playing, trading him away for this season, that's not a loss. He's not going to play. So that's a pretty easy way to kind of take him out for this season. So if we take him out for this season, who do you got?
Take KD.
So Kevin Durant is out of this question because he's not the biggest loss. Well, he's injured.
No, I think it's still him because you would have to assume that KD re-signing with the Warriors is long term.
Yeah, all right. Yeah,
that's true. Well, let's look at it from the lens of
unless he just jumps on a bunch
I'll
of
just look at it from last season. Like, assume everyone's healthy. So they got KD and they go to the playoffs. They probably win with us three coming off the bench.
Yeah, easy peasy.
Like easy.
That's
but
Yeah,
just because like
The answer is Kevin
Livingston's
Durant.
been on the decline. Like last year was not a good year
That's
for
what
him.
I was gonna say.
Iggy's still like good in the playoffs, but he's injury prone as well.
So what I would have
He's
said
older.
is for the team dynamic, the bigger loss is
Andre
is
Iguodala?
Andre Iguodala because we of all the stuff we know about Kevin Durant and him not being happy there, almost practically being jealous of the way that Steph Curry is treated
Mhm.
by the fandom.
Yep.
But then you hear some of the stuff that Iggy says, so that makes me almost think that Iggy wasn't really like
Do you want to illuminate us here?
wasn't really clicking with them when he went on the radio show. I think it was Breakfast Club
Said
or
some
something.
stuff, yeah.
And he said like, yeah, my foot was broken last
But I was
year,
still
and
out
they
there
were
playing.
they called it a sprain.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe he already had some tension rising there, and that could be why he's now in Memphis.
Yeah, and not to derail because I want to answer the question in the lens of this season. So I think it's Andre Iguodala as well. But regarding Andre Iguodala, another tweet from the man Shams Charania says,
Oh,
go ahead.
Sorry, it's just like you're saying it, Andre Iguodala, but
is the biggest loss
bigger loss than
for
KD.
this year.
for this year
For
because
this
you
year.
weren't
Because he
gonna
was
have
injured.
KD anyway.
Okay, yeah. So that's better. Yeah.
But yeah, Shams
Makes
Charania tweets, Memphis wants 3-time champion Andre Iguodala to report to training camp and is refusing right now to engage in a buyout, which would prevent Iguodala from finishing a Hall of Fame career on his terms because this may be his final NBA season. So, Livingston declining, Andre Iguodala declining. I think we could easily say that the craftiness and the versatility of Andre Iguodala with his instincts, smarts, and knowing how to guard like top players like LeBron James, even if it was Kevin Durant in the finals, he could guard him too.
Yeah.
I think that's the biggest loss easily, given assuming that tempers were fine and he could gel with the team, even if he didn't gel with management or whatever. I think that's the biggest loss. And then regarding this breaking news, go Memphis. I don't like this whole buyout. Like, I want to go to whatever team I want.
Let me help you win. Let me help this
Yeah.
other team win. Like, no.
Yeah,
Like,
you signed a contract with the Warriors. You got traded.
Exactly.
You're contracted to be here.
yeah, you don't.
I
have
agree
to
with
be
that,
here.
but like they ain't winning nothing no time soon.
It don't matter. I think
guess
it comes
what-
down to principle at that point. Like
Yeah.
we're competitive. We're competing against each other. We're not here to.
But they could get something
Let's-
good off of that too.
we're not
If
here
you
to
can get a
facilitate.
Not on a
Well, no,
buyout,
it's a
you
buyout.
can't.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you're right.
it's a buyout.
Here's some
Yeah.
money. I don't think they're worried about the extra however many million.
yeah. So I agree. 100%. So Memphis, way to
So-
stick to your guns.
Yeah, but for now, it says right now. on the
For now,
tweet.
yeah. Get a tweet in 5 minutes saying,
Oh, never
Andre
mind.
Iguodala's been bought out.
That was all
I'm
leverage.
always about
But
the
we forget
players.
about, just to mention, because I don't want to overlook the other name he says Sean Livingston. I think he had declined over the last
Considerably.
couple of years. Richard went as far as to call him the walking minus.
Yeah.
So I think Livingston wasn't really a factor
he
last
was a
year.
lot of fun to watch.
However, to be fair, I think he's looking at this as, hey, if we lost KD and we kept the other two, we would probably be looked at a little bit more like, hey, the Warriors are still the Warriors.
Assuming if Clay was healthy, they'd still be good.
Yeah, I
Like,
think Clay's the biggest X
that's-
factor, honestly. So
Sean Livingston used to show up there and this 3-point slanging offense and just shoot a couple turnaround twos from the
it used
nail,
to be money,
looking good.
guaranteed.
And the difference was he'd be out there with the bench unit against the other bench, and he would keep them from
Yeah.
clawing back in.
That's true.
Yeah.
He'd put in a 3 and a 2, so the opposing team had 5.
Between him and
and then
David
Livingston
West,
would put in
and,
2
yeah.
2s, and then most Spades would shoot a
Yeah.
3, and they'd still be up.
Yeah.
There's no clawing back here.
yeah.
So of course he was fun to watch. Great comeback story after that horrific injury, but it's Andre Iguodala for me.
Yeah.
So
He had a good run though.
What were you
I think
about to say?
I think a fair question would have been like, considering both of these guys are hurt,
Mm.
if you could bring one back and not be
Oh.
injured, would it be Kevin Durant or
Yeah, it's
Klay
Kevin Durant.
Thompson?
Oh, Klay Thompson. Oh, I didn't know you were
yeah,
gonna say.
that was I think I'd bring back Klay Thompson.
Yeah, probably Clay. Because you've, like I said
like
a few episodes ago,
erasing
they've
the
already
injury?
won with Clay.
If you could
Yeah.
erase one injury,
If you undo
and
one
put him
injury.
back on your roster, who would you put back on your roster?
Clay.
I think you could put Clay, man. I think you put
on
Clay.
that
Because I think
On
KD
that
was
team,
leaving
I think
anyway.
I think on that team, I
Yeah, on
think
that
it'd be
team
Klay
for
too.
sure. Because
Yeah.
you don't need Clay to be the best player on the team.
He doesn't have to dribble. That one game where
he had 11 dribbles or something. Where he
Yeah.
had,
how many?
was 60.
62
Was that the
points?
62-point game?
But
He
I
had
remember-
11 dribbles.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fuck.
I remember the time he shot 10 threes in one quarter against the Kings in the
wow.
third quarter. They were hard shots. He was just like, here, give me the
It
ball.
was 37 points in a
Chuck,
quarter.
like, yeah.
Yeah, it's
That was
something
no, but
crazy,
like
yeah.
on purpose. Like I'm like it wasn't difficult and he passed it away. It was difficult and he'd shoot it and it just went in.
Yeah.
10 straight.
Money.
So good.
That's
so
the-
good. That's the
auto
perfect.
aim.
It's the perfect situation for him for sure.
Oof.
Okay, we're gonna move on to another question. This one's from our listener Kim. He says, "Could Boogie on Team USA have helped him get on a roster? So if he had opted in to play for Team USA, would that have helped him find another team to be on? And of course, he's coming off he's coming off an injury. would him being on Team USA have helped him get a roster spot though?
Boogie?
Yeah,
I mean, he already had one, right? He was on Lakers.
No. Boogie?
Yeah, that's what I'm. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. So if Boogie was on Team
Oh,
USA,
I'm sorry.
it's Carmelo, right?
Yes.
Yeah, that's what I remember reading. Sorry.
yeah.
We were talking about Boogie so much earlier, it just got to the
It got
point.
melded in.
I definitely think Carmelo would benefit immensely from being on the FIBA roster because everyone remembers Olympic Melo as like a
Olympic
meme.
Melo,
One of the
yeah.
many
And he knows how to take the ball off the rim too, man.
Yeah, he knows the rules. He could be the mentor. But like, if you remember,
It don't matter no more because they don't call it.
on that 2012 Redeem team, Anthony Davis was on that roster as a college player.
Mm-hmm.
He didn't play a single minute, but he was there, absorbing, building relationships with these guys, meeting LeBron, meeting all these guys, and so. I know this isn't like the cream of the crop, as we keep saying every time we talk about Team USA, but just being around the coaching staff, building some goodwill, like, Popovich, Steve
Talking
Kerr,
to Pop saying, "Hey, y'all got room over there?"
like,
y'all need another.
That's true.
Y'all
though.
need another.
You could build some good
two.
rapport with one of these guys, and they could be like, you know what, Coach Melo was really great.
yeah, he was played his role, or if he did pop off, like,
I think
everybody's
it
like,
could
"Oh my God, it's a renaissance!"
Yeah, and
you
you
know?
have all
The two-pointer
You have the
is back.
Celtics boys.
Joe Johnson is getting a contract probably just from
Yeah, he's
winning
doing
the
some
big three.
workouts
The
now,
big three.
Yeah. Oh,
MVP.
that is true.
Yeah, he's
Yeah,
doing some
right.
workouts.
So it's definitely ISO Joe coming back.
To quote Kevin Garnett, anything's possible.
I mean, yeah, it would have been nice, but I think didn't Team USA they came out and said they didn't want him there because they thought he'd be a distraction.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but I think that's why
that
I
sucks.
think that's why
But,
Cam asked this question though. Like,
if he
was
could have made it,
there-
I think it would have been a good look.
I think that's a really
Yeah.
interesting perspective. I think you're right, Cam. I think
Yeah.
that would have helped his case because everybody talks. The NBA is basically
There's
built
not-
on.
I mean, that just shows that you're willing to work in your
If-
time off.
Yeah,
so.
if this free agency told us anything, is that players talking is definitely what influences front office decisions.
It's a small fraternity.
Yeah,
guys.
so it just takes. I mean, I don't know if Danny Ainge would budge, but all three guys from the Celtics could be like,
We want
this
Melo.
guy.
We want Melo. He's a great locker room guy.
sending you all out.
And suddenly he's a Celtic.
Taco out,
He
Melo
might
in.
actually work there. Actually,
Say what?
he might actually fit there.
What, in Boston?
Yeah, coming off the bench. No,
I mean, who knows? Yeah.
Yeah, maybe.
it's less cluttered.
I feel
now.
like they got. They
It's
just
less-
solved their ball handling issue. Like there's too much.
Go-
Too many people, not enough ball.
Gordon Hayward and him off the bench, I think that could work. Gordon Hayward plays very well off ball, and so having Melo, you be the ball handler in that
ball ain't
situation.
he ain't giving the ball up, dog. The ball's going to
Assuming
the
he comes
hoop.
into the role.
Gordon Hayward getting the rebound will be great.
Oh my god!
That's what he's saying.
You guys start. I'm trying to look at it. I'm trying to give this guy, like you said, have him turn
Some
a new leaf,
positive.
and you guys just like no. He's gonna revert to the mean every
It's like, I
time.
gotta put it in.
Oh man. If you guys have any more Mellow questions, keep them coming because these are
Yeah.
fun to talk about.
It's a gold mine.
They always
Who knew?
revert to the
Who
same
knew?
thing, though.
We're gonna put a quarter in the mellow jar every time we bring him up. We'll
It's like,
we'll
he
rich.
could,
Back
but
down the
nah.
big for tested fadeaway jumper. Like, what do you think?
Oh my goodness. Yeah, I agree.
can
I
hit
think
that shot.
I think
You know
so.
I can.
To answer the question again, Cam, I think it would have helped this case for sure. We got one more question. This comes from
Yeah, that's a lot
Ramiro.
of questions.
One more question from Ramiro.
Oh, okay.
He says, which of you three would win in a game of 21? I'm assuming this is one-on-one. Take it however you guys will, but I'm assuming one-on-one. I'm going to take myself out of this just because I haven't touched the court. I touched the court a couple times this year, but ever since I tore my ACL, like, I wouldn't even feel comfortable going full.
that mental thing is real then.
It's very real. So I can
Yeah.
run, no problem. I can go out there. I can do jumping jacks, do box jumps and shit. But as soon as you get on the court and you're thinking about cutting, you just remember when it happened. Because for me, it happened when I was on the court. It was hooping. And I remember taking that step for that rebound and just giving out.
This is the guy that
So-
took a charge.
Yeah, I'm the guy that took the charge.
Took a charge and pick up, man.
But
Oh.
but yeah, that's not how I tore the ACL.
Yeah.
I don't want
I was just
anybody to
thinking,
think
man.
that.
That's what you get.
But no, I was just going up for a
No,
rebound
right.
and it gave out, and dude, the feeling, the sensation from your ACL just popping like that, it's something else, and you just it's a mental thing.
Oh
I
yeah, definitely.
I have hooped. I mean, we've hit the court, so it's getting better. But I wouldn't be like I'm gonna go full ham on this game just yet.
Yeah.
I think it's still gonna take a few weeks. So I'm gonna defer to y'all. Who do you-
So
I've never
oh, I
played.
played
man.
against
So-
both of y'all. Though.
yeah, I played
JV's
against
played
Jonathan.
against
So
both
maybe
of
I
us.
shouldn't defer.
JV knows the
What do
craftiness
you
that I
think?
bring
Yeah.
to the table.
Okay, so I think Andre definitely has the quickness on offense, to get around Rich. But the problem is, Rich is very difficult to get around.
Mm.
It's weird, right? Because
It's
it's
like-
not like Rich is a wide dude, but
It's like Gary
for
Payton
some
over
reason
here.
he gets really low, and so he makes it very difficult. But I have seen Andre working on his jump shot, so if he's hitting his jump shots, I think he takes it.
Yeah, I mean, he's got the height advantage. And what I was gonna say to answer the question, if we're playing 21, I'm not super confident in my abilities either. I actually have a 3-on-3 kind of like event at my job going on next month.
Dang.
Yeah,
Nice.
next month we're like coordinating some teams.
Might
or
throw that
whatever.
on the gram, dog.
So
Next time,
we might have
DSJ
to throw.
and Trey are
We're
in
gonna have to
town.
throw it
I'm
on
gonna
the gram. You gotta let us know when that is,
So,
guys.
right
Let
now-
us know on Twitter if you'd like to see Richard playing some hoops.
Right now,
3-on-3.
right now I'm training. I'm actually going to rehab right now to fix this knee that I
Yeah.
got. It gives me some pain. I'm wearing a knee brace. I'm jogging, trying to get my endurance up. So getting some shots up, and if I do well
That's
on that
good.
3-on-3, maybe me and Andre
We got to
can-
do it. We got to
show
run
that.
one for this.
'Cause
We got to run
I-
the gauntlet.
We can.
I've known Andre.
We can run some threes, man.
I can't believe we've never
I've
played. 'Cause
known
I played with
Andre-
him a bunch.
I've known
Yeah.
Andre since for what? How many years is it now? Like
Yeah, we've played-
13 years now.
Yeah, we
We've
played
never
pre-ACL and
played
post-ACL.
before.
I will say though, if we did play though, I think I'd in the post would be my thing.
Are you
Oh,
sure?
yeah.
Oh yeah, he's supposed. He's,
Oh yeah,
JV got the
He
turn. I know.
he
Yeah,
does.
I
I
got
played
the
there
turn
too,
up,
bro.
man.
I got it, man.
Yeah.
You
so-
making those? I was like, all right.
Yeah, that was funny. Andre's like, I didn't know you had that.
Just JV practices what he preaches, I guess.
Yeah, you got, oh man, so you want to have a free throw contest?
So let's go.
Oh, we
man.
can do that.
Let's do it.
I'm telling you.
I'm pretty good on the free throws.
Let's
But
play horse.
I would guess that
That'd be fun.
Andre's physical structure is more sound than ours is at the moment. So I guess
Andre
Andre
did
would
have
win.
a broken ankle, dog.
Oh.
No, I had a ruptured ankle. It
Ruptured-
took me a while.
Ruptured
to get back.
Achilles or
It's, peroneal tendon.
peroneal tendon.
So it's like right there on the ankle.
So I guess
So
the
everybody's
answer,
a little fucked up.
the answer to the question is there's a reason we're podcasting and not hooping right now.
Hey, if
Let's
anybody
go,
wants to
man.
come hoop and
Let's
hit
go, man.
some 3-on-3, let us know.
Let's do it. We'll have a run.
That'll be at Shotcallers
The
Show
shot
on
callers
Twitter.
versus the ballers.
There you go. Just shoot us a message at Shotcaller Show.
But
and
you
we'll-
need
we'll
at
set
least
some up.
each one of you needs at least like you need 2 players with an injury. Like
There's a handicap.
we gotta even it up, man. Like,
Yeah. Bring the juice packs in. We'll provide.
It's also a 6 feet and under league.
Oh my god, dude! I used to play with some tall dudes. That's why I'm a little bit comfortable in the post because
Mhm.
like when you play against dudes that are just bigger than you,
yeah, everyone else is
you
just
gotta be smart with what you
Where you put the ball. And
yeah, because
your
they'll
elite
swat
point.
your shit so fast. Like dudes be trying to like dribble and shit, and you settle for a jumper and they just pack your shit.
Yeah.
Like no, like you gotta be crafty.
Mhm.
So that stuff I'd been working on just because didn't want to play a real game. So
Right.
all I could do on the court was just kind of try this stuff on my own, and it worked. So maybe I'll get better at it.
All right.
Damn, it makes me want to jump on the
Let's
court.
go, man.
Dude, I'm training. Be back in the gym tomorrow.
Yep.
But so I guess we had more listener questions, but we're gonna save some for a
Next
future
time.
mailbag.
Yes, there's a lot of good questions, but keep them coming. If we didn't answer one of your questions this week, don't worry, we'll get to it. But that doesn't mean you can't ask us another one.
There's a lot of time before the NBA season starts, guys.
Yeah, we need
If you,
keep the questions coming. Load them up,
If you
man.
want to send us your questions,
Ask Jeeves.
go to Ask Jeeves. Go to Shotcaller Show on Twitter. That's at Shotcaller Show. _Shotcallers on Instagram. Shotcaller Show on the Shotcallers on YouTube. You can leave a question in the comments or on podcast reviews. We always love those reviews. Like I said, every time we check there, it seems like we have a new review, so we
I got
appreciate
one
it.
more thing.
Oh,
One more
and
time.
shotcallershow@gmail.com is the final thing.
I thought Andre was about to say like I could take y'all 2-on-1.
No, we're
If I'm
past
being
that.
real.
What were you gonna say?
So Nike banning the ninja headband. How do y'all feel
You're
about
you're
that?
getting into the bits over here.
Oh, these
Yeah.
Oh,
I'm
we're
sorry.
getting
I'm
into
spilling your
Rich's
bits, man.
bits.
Your
Rich's
bits
bits.
just spilling everywhere, man.
Yeah, we're about to jump into Rich's bits. Before we go to that, I do want to bring up.
man.
Oh, not yet,
Not
not
yet.
quite yet,
Y'all
not
had the
quite
bits.
yet. I do want to touch on something that happened this week with me. I had a conversation with a friend of mine, and we got kind of heated, kind of like we did about the the Kobe and Shaq stuff. So I said, you know what? I'm gonna ask the boys, and they're gonna determine this for us. So it actually turned into a bet. So we have a bet going on. It's a very long term bet because the bet is, will Devin Booker make the All-Star game?
This
And
year?
Yes. So before
No.
you answer,
No.
let me give you some stuff. Before you answer, I said no, and so my money's riding on he won't. And then I gave him these names as to people that he would have to beat out to make the All-Star game. So I'm gonna give you this list, and then you let me know whether or not you agree. So I gave him Kawhi, LeBron, Steph Curry, James Harden, Damian Lillard, Anthony Davis, Jokic, Paul George, Russell Westbrook, Draymond Green, Rudy Gobert, Donovan Mitchell, Luka Doncic, De'Aaron Fox, Trae Young. Sorry, I don't know why I put Trae Young on there. Kristaps Porzingis and Karl Anthony Towns. So Out of all those names I gave you,
LaMarcus Aldridge and maybe DeMar DeRozan.
I put Trey on here because I think Trey's better, but he's obviously not in the West. But out of all those other ones, who could he beat out for an All-Star spot?
He's fighting with.
So let's go one at a time, and you just say yes or no. Kawhi.
Nope.
No.
Oh crap! What the? Okay, no. Kawhi, no. LeBron.
Yeah. No.
What? Oh man.
LeBron. No. Right?
You mean LeBron?
Steph Curry.
No.
No way.
James Harden.
Nope. Too many votes. Those are all the vote getters.
Damian Lillard.
Nope.
And he listens to this, so I want y'all to.
Damian?
Damian Lillard.
No, you said he listened to this. I said Damian Lillard.
No.
Yeah, Dame,
Shout out to Dame, baby.
Dame dog,
Anthony
let's go.
Davis.
Damian Lillard has missed some All-Star games, but I don't think he'll miss
He ain't
on
missing
account of
no
Devin
more.
Booker.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, his star has risen.
Anthony
especially after
Davis?
those playoff performances.
No.
No, not in LA. He's gonna get all the votes.
Nikola Jokic.
Nope.
Paul George.
Jokic will get slept on. He won't
think,
have the
I
popular
think he'll
vote.
make it.
He'll
I
have to
think
get,
this is year.
he'll have to get voted in, and when you get voted in by the coaches, they're like, okay, who do we game
It
plan
counts
for?
for more than the people's vote.
Yeah. Oh,
That's why Luka didn't make it last year.
right. More than people's vote, and then, but also, as far as like the reserves go, the coaches or the assistant coaches or whoever they pass that ballot down to, saying, "Oh, you do this."
Yeah.
They're like, "Who do we game plan for?" And they're gonna say Nikola Jokic. He makes the offense run. He's gonna be a top 5 MVP candidate, just like he was this past season.
Yep.
And if they're gonna be
for sure.
if they're gonna be winning 50+ games this year, and the Suns are not gonna be winning 50+ games this year, it's gonna be Nikola Jokic. So
He didn't make it last year, right? He should have, but he
Jokic?
didn't.
Jokic did.
Yeah.
He did.
Yeah, he did. He did. I think you're
What happened
confused.
to the All-Star
I think
game?
you're
I'm
confused.
trying to-
I think
can't
you're
even remember
confusing it
that
with the MVP votes, but he definitely made it.
But yeah, go ahead.
Paul George,
In LA, he's
game.
gonna
Yeah,
make
he's
it.
gonna make it.
Russell Westbrook,
Yes.
In Houston, he's gonna make it.
He's got to make it, or else Houston
Draymond
sucks.
Green.
He can still
He-
make it
he
if
might
he
not.
balls out. He can miss.
You guys can pick
Well,
him.
actually-
He can
Yeah.
miss.
With no
He
K-
could miss, but I feel like with the
no
way
KD
his
and
role
no
is going
Clay?
to be with no Clay,
it
he's
depends
got
on
to
how
make
good
it.
he
They
is.
run the pick and roll really amazingly.
They do,
together.
and he's super smart on defense.
I feel like for them to be successful, he has to
You
make
want me
it.
to circle that
Yeah.
one as a potential?
But
yes?
that's a potential one.
It's a
Okay.
potential yes, yeah. And so, like with Kawhi Leonard now joining the conference too, that's one less spot compared to last year when he was in the East.
Mm-hmm.
And so, you can say injury replacement to this guy, injury
Oh,
replacement
just
to this
compare
guy.
him to just compare.
Just put an
just
asterisk.
compare
He's
them
a- he's a-
to Devin Booker.
Yeah,
That's all
he's
we
an
gotta do.
asterisk.
Mhm.
Rudy Gobert,
He should make it this year. I think he's gonna make it.
DPOY.
No, I think
He's
he
gonna be
should
the best
make
player
it.
on that
I'm just
team.
wondering what
So
would
remember,
happen.
just
I think
over
he's
each
gonna
other, over Devin Booker over them. Will they make it?
Yeah, he's
Yeah.
gonna make it.
Okay. Donovan Mitchell,
Devin
Yes.
Booker could
make it over
could
him.
make it over
Okay.
him.
Yeah, that's
Luka Doncic.
I think Luka's over Devin.
Luka Doncic. It would be close, but I think I'd give the edge to Luka with all his like his accolades and his hype, all the hype, especially
He
with
was winning.
with
like,
Porzingis. Yeah, if Porzingis has a comeback year and Luka's the star of the show, and
I
they're
agree.
winning games. They're winning
agree.
40+ games.
So we'll pause right here because the biggest thing he would said against Luka was that if you swapped, and I hate this argument, but if you swap
Him and
teams,
Trae Young.
who would do better? And I said, Devin Booker won 21 games last year without the number 1 pick in DeAndre Ayton, and then we added DeAndre Ayton, and they went down to 19 wins. Now you guys last time had him at like 30 wins next year,
Mhm.
and I thought y'all were kind of crazy when y'all said that, but I don't see that happening.
No, they'll probably be 20. Did I
So
say
he-
30 something?
He said over 30.
wins. Yeah.
Oh,
That tells you
they
everything. On
can't-
that.
yeah, it's gonna be 20 something.
You gotta win in order to make an All-Star game. I feel like it's not like baseball where you can just be Mike Trout, and even though the Angels suck, you're gonna get voted in because you're great. Like no, you gotta win some games. De'Aaron Fox,
Devin Booker could get the edge over him.
Yeah.
okay. Trae Young. God dang it! I don't,
Trey Young's gonna
He's
be
in
an
the
All-Star.
Sorry, he's gonna be an All-Star in the East. Kristaps Porzingis.
Yeah, he's making it over Devin.
Oh yeah, I think Kristaps is gonna be the best player on the Mavericks.
You think
Probably
so?
will
You think
be.
he'll have a bounce back year?
Karl Anthony Towns.
Yeah.
Town's over. He's got the tenure.
He's already made it. Yeah.
Yeah. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Exactly 12 names that we picked over Devin Booker. And
There's
how many
only
roster spots?
I think there's only 12 or 13
There's
spots.
only 12 spots.
Yeah.
So
We've already got
is
12
my
confirmed.
money pretty safe?
Yeah.
I think so. Yeah.
How much is it?
That's not a lot.
$1.
It's not about the money, Andre. It's about
Well, I'm
who's
just like,
right.
how much do I get?
It's about who's right. How about you? You gotta hit the value menu. Let's just say that. But yeah, I just want to talk about that because
that
he
mu-
insisted that we talk about it.
Okay.
So
That money
clears
can
it
go
up.
towards
Who
the
is
shot
this?
callers
Is this
shirts.
I keep them. No, I said keep them anonymous.
Oh,
Oh.
gotcha. Yeah, and you should. Yeah,
It's not safe out here, man.
That money should go to Shotcallers shirts.
Shotcaller shirts.
Yeah.
Okay, we'll invest that in Shotcallers merch. Definitely.
Oh,
So
man.
what's up?
Oh, okay, so that does it for that section.
Nice.
The next thing. Oh, once again, if you'd like to send us your tidbits or your questions,
What do you think?
send us a message to Shotcaller Show on Twitter, _Shotcallers on Instagram. Leave a comment on the video. These Shotcallers, if you're watching us on YouTube, what up, fam? And of course, we also have our email, shotcallershow@gmail.com. Anything else?
Nope. I think it's time. Y'all ready?
It's time
Time
for the
for.
Rich's bits.
I already had my hands in the bits for a bit.
We're
Sorry.
still taking.
I need some energy behind that, Rich. Yeah, be like,
Rich's
bits.
bits.
Rich's bits.
Yeah, anyway,
there
so-
you go.
Drum roll.
Still a work in
I
progress.
gotta get the
here.
FX.
So you're watching FIBA, right? And like sometimes, so I just drive around, going to work, going to school, all the stuff that I do. And JV knows this more than anybody. If I'm driving, you want to be safe. You don't want to text. And sometimes you just want to get a quick thought out verbally. Verbally can be faster sometimes. So I call JV. I'm like, we shoot the shit for like 5 minutes and then we hang up.
Yeah.
And so just whatever dumb thought came through my head. And so like you're watching FIBA, right? And you're watching and you're seeing NBA play or USA play against Greece, USA play against Brazil, Lithuania, France, all that stuff. And you look at the sideline and something's kind of jarring when you see Coach Popovich over there. One, he's not usually the Team USA coach. But two, he's just wearing a Team USA, Coach K from previous years, just a polo. It says USA, white shirt, collared shirt, unbuttoned. And it's so weird because normally these NBA coaches
They're
are
in
dressed
suits,
like
yeah.
almost to the nines. You
Yeah.
know? Some of them don't have a collar or have a tie, collars open, Jason Kidd style. But it just made me be like, hey, that's pretty cool. I like that the NBA wears suits. I like that they kind of keep it classy and dress like the millionaire coaches that they are, and they don't dress like the NFL coaches that are looking like they might as well have the damn
They might have a uniform.
just put the
from
uniform
head to
on
shoe,
like in
right?
the longest yard.
Baseball, baby.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Still
Put
hilarious.
a damn uniform on if you're gonna do that instead of looking like a bum, looking like me. Looking
Yeah.
like me on a Sunday morning. Coach Belichick, what the hell's going on?
They do look kind of bummy.
Yeah,
I don't know why Belichick dresses like that, but whatever.
He started it, I believe.
Yeah.
But yeah, so
So you're saying FIBA needs to tighten up?
yeah, get the tie on.
I mean,
It's like those soccer coaches. There's a guy, I don't know what team he coached in the World Cup, like however many years ago when I was
that
watching.
the short, portly fellow?
Short, portly, and he had a watch on this side and a watch on this. He was wearing
Damn,
two
he
watches.
knew
That's
what
how
time
dapper
it
he was.
was.
One for home and
is
one
that
for
really a damper?
yeah, to the nines. I take that over Coach Belichick.
Oh yeah. I
So,
don't think anything
so
about
are
it.
y'all up on the NBA uniform? Or you think
Yeah,
it should
I
be
like-
suits and
Oh,
ties?
coaches for sure.
Yeah.
For sure. I don't think the players that aren't playing should have to wear a suit.
Oh,
I liked when Allen Iverson
With
rolled
the-
up
yeah,
with,
the-
Right.
David Stern coming,
Yeah.
rolling up.
with all
I
the
like,
chains,
I like the
with
expression.
all the
'cause you-
chains and shit.
that's
Because then you
This-
get Stone Cold, Stone Cold Dame, like
Well,
all the cool Halloween stuff.
we kind of
Yeah.
swung back the other way a
Yeah,
little bit.
but
at
they
least
still
on
have
the
to wear
entrances.
suits.
Yeah.
I liked it because like you got to see them in a different light, like who they were.
Yeah,
you know
exactly, who they really are.
They're like.
But now we have so much access.
I mean,
Instagram
I guess
and
they
all
can
that
wear
stuff.
whatever shoes they want now, so that's a step in the right direction.
Yeah, and so that's kind of what I was grinding my gears.
But what about
for what I was thinking about? And so speaking of professionalism, Nike has come out and said that due to wanting a professional look on the court, where men wear shorts and muscle shirts or tank tops basically to hoop in and sweat in,
Yeah.
they can't wear the headband that
They
Drew
called-
Holiday and Russell Westbrook
De'Aaron
is starting to wear.
Fox.
De'Aaron Fox, the ninja style
The
headband.
ninja style. Those are so cool.
Russell
Those
Westbrook
are
looks like a
tight.
ninja turtle.
I know.
Like,
But apparently, what was their reason though? What was their reason for not saying you
for
can't?
professionalism.
Oh, but tennis players can wear it.
Yeah,
with the
Nadal
Nike check
is
has a big old
Nadal.
Nike check on
Rafa
it.
Nadal.
Yeah,
He
They
wears
play
the
outside
headband,
though.
yeah.
and it says
Oh, yeah,
Nike
but
on
it's hella
there.
professional.
It
too.
says Nike on his headband, and that's like the gentleman's sport where they all wear white in Wimbledon.
Oh wait, Nike saying
Nike,
this?
Yeah,
says
it's a
this,
Nike.
not the NBA.
Nike,
Nike controls the uniforms.
So why does Nike? Because of professionalism.
Professionalism.
It has their logo across the front, right?
Yeah,
Some of
and-
them can. It can, but like I'm
But
saying,
in this
Nadal has
instance-
that
I
with
bet
the
you if
Nike
they all
logo
said
with the
there.
Nike,
Nike
they wouldn't
logo
give a
on
shit.
there.
And
Yeah.
that's crazy. And so like they have their clause and other things too. You know why LeBron didn't change his number this year when he intended to?
Yeah, because the
Because
promo.
They already
The
made the
promotion.
jersey.
Yeah, the
we made
promo.
the jerseys already, LeBron.
You
And
can't.
he's like, all right, fine. Can I still have the building? Like, because they're making a building for him.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that's crazy. So they should all just do it and pay the fines.
I heard AD should have taken the number 80.
Oh, why?
80,
Oh,
80,
little
got
whack.
him. Uh-huh.
I
That's
think all
not
the,
whack. That's kind of cool.
I think all the initial nicknames
No,
are
it is.
whack.
I mean, it's
Hey,
all right.
Am I lame for thinking that's kind of
It's
cool?
all right. Do you like
addition to-
PG-13?
Impromptu addition to
I
Rich's
do.
bits. Over
I do. I do like
That's
I
a good
like
one.
it. I like
But
it.
impromptu, I think all those letter number nicknames are whack. It's like when
What about AK-47?
That's a good one. There's
Oh,
exceptions.
and,
to,
yeah,
there's
yeah.
exceptions
And then
to
they
every
wouldn't
rule.
let them wear it whenever they'd have the players' jerseys.
Yeah,
Remember?
yeah,
The
yeah.
nicknames, they couldn't let them wear it.
But like
'cause
KB, that's not as good as
KB.
Kobe Bryant. He calls himself KB sometimes.
That's terrible. I thought
Exactly.
it was the Mamba.
So,
I thought that
there's
was
ex-
interesting.
Come
There's
on,
exceptions
man.
to the rule. But anyway, so yeah, that's super whack. They should just wear the jersey, wear the headbands, and pay the fines. LeBron's got enough money, pay it all. LeBron was teasing the headband on his Instagram.
Yeah.
Looking like a bigger Ninja Turtle than Russell Westbrook.
He fell in the ooze
Hey
twice.
man, some of the guys rock it pretty well. like De'Aaron Fox, that
Yeah.
shit worked.
Yeah,
Mike
Drew
Scott-
Holiday.
Mike Scott doesn't look as cool as
Yeah,
De'Aaron Fox.
Drew
but
Holiday.
Drew Holiday's
yeah,
good.
Holiday.
Drew
I mean,
Holiday's
he
probably-
started it.
Drew Holiday probably wears the best.
Him and on the
Wesley
on the-
Matthews, I like it.
Wesley Matthews looked good, and then on the Clippers, the center on the Clippers, that's a beast.
Oh, you're talking Montrezl Harrell.
Yeah, Montrezl Harrell, sorry.
Montrezl.
The L at the end of his name always screws me up. Should I say Trezl or just
It's called
Montrez?
Trez.
Yeah, Trez. But so that, and so speaking of LeBron, speaking of Lakers, my last little bit here is this kind of story that Dwayne Wade is kind of pushing out this week. But he's gonna be working out with LeBron every time he comes to work out in LA, saying,
I'm staying ready.
Yeah,
Is he going to take
we
Melo's
we don't know
spot?
what's gonna happen, but you know, if
Melo.
something happened, you never know. I said it's my last time, but I could suit up and just the total attention grab. What if he doesn't play? Like he just wants everyone. He just wants to be in the news cycle once again. We all know he's a diva, and so
He's chasing the cloud, dog.
I'm just
Yeah.
on. I'm
He's just
on-
mad because Dirk got that Cowboys.
Yeah, got that Cowboys look.
Got that Cowboys.
Oh,
love.
dude, yeah.
But-
they threw him up on the screen and everybody.
They did,
If you look
yeah.
at that picture, it looks like people
It-
were like,
it-
he's a
It
god.
looks like
Yeah.
a Renaissance
I mean,
painting.
He is to people in Dallas.
Just Google Dirk at the Dallas Cowboys game.
Yeah, he
and
does.
he's- yeah,
His hands are like this.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
he's- Everybody's like, yeah.
But yeah,
Trying to take in the great.
that's
The
just
Cowboys
my-
is pretty huge, man.
That's for sure. But yeah, that's just my old man like soapbox. Like it's not all about the gram and the news
Sometimes it's
cycle.
about
But
the bits.
So Richard's like, tidy up, coaches. Players, go ham.
Yeah,
right?
exactly. The
Ninja
coaches,
costumes,
yeah,
what else you
they're
want?
esteemed.
Like,
They should
Yeah.
advertise
No,
them.
you're right. You're right. I do like that they let them wear whatever shoes they want, though. I love when Luka wears them red ass shoes, like
Looking like Sonic.
that shit.
Like-
I didn't even think about that. I did not even think.
But they're
about that.
man.
That's what they used to say about Steph Curry. They used to say after Steph Curry made 3 threes, he should have shoes that just turn orange, like he's on fire in NBA Jam.
That light up.
That'd be pretty
exactly.
tight, man.
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
Hey man, Under Armour, y'all need to get on that.
Oh my goodness.
Under Armour. But anyway, that's the end of my bits.
Yeah.
So
If
what?
sorry, I can't. I'm gonna think about Sonic every time I see Luka
Gotta
Doncic
go
wearing
fast.
red shoes.
Turnover.
Oh man, that's the slowest Sonic I've ever seen.
That's Sonic, man.
That's for sure.
So that does it for this week, guys. Again, if you'd have any listener mail or just want to talk to us, shoot us a message on Twitter at Shotcallers Show. That's at Shotcallers Show. Leave a comment in the comment section below if you're watching us on YouTube.
Yep.
On the Shotcallers channel, we keep getting more subscribers, so we want to hit
we're
the.
skipping some
Yeah.
other competitors on
Building it
that
up,
subscriber.
building it
Oh
up,
yeah,
right?
for sure. We want to hit that 100 mark, and then who knows? Once the show keeps getting bigger and bigger, we can do some more fun things for y'all. Maybe some giveaways. Richard mentioned some shirts.
Play all in
Maybe.
21,
That's a
man.
possibility.
Oh, actually, what I was thinking about doing is, you know that Tracy McGrady link I shared with y'all, where he
Yeah.
was posting up, did a behind the back into a fadeaway from the left key as a Houston Rocket.
yeah.
Once those shots go around, like whenever we get like a viral moment like that, we should just make videos of ourselves doing it. The
Mimic
three
it,
of us.
try to
Yeah,
mimic
yeah,
it.
we compare it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That'll
exactly.
work. That'll work. That'll work. The _Shotcallers on Instagram as well. And then if you want to shoot us an email, shotcallershow@gmail.com. We appreciate you guys listening.
Please rate us on Apple iTunes. Please leave us a review if you would like to, with any kind of praise, comments, feedback, positive, negative. We want to grow the show and build it to be exactly what you guys want it to be. We have a lot of fun, and we want it to be great for y'all too.
Yeah,
So,
it really makes the show that much better when you guys send us these questions. We love that you guys are willing to take the time out of your day to listen to us. It means a lot. And we appreciate all the interactions
Yep.
that we've had. Can't do it without y'all. Really,
Yep.
really, really thankful.
Really appreciate y'all. All
Nobody-
feedback's good feedback.
Thank you.
Yeah.
If nobody has anything else, I think that does it for this week. Until next time, I'm JV,
I'm Rich.
I'm Andre.
and we're the Shot Callers.